Well, the government shutdown, we know, was having a serious effect on federal services. So what about that molasses mess in Honolulu Harbor? It's just one of the stories in this edition of Civil Beat. And joining us over Skype is civilbeat.com reporter Chad Blair. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning, Jill.
Well, just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, now things might slow down as far as cleaning up that molasses mess at Honolulu Harbor?
That's correct. You mentioned NOAA earlier, and the office is being closed. The same thing with the EPA. If you call those agencies, you're going to get an answering machine saying, I'm sorry, but I'm out of the office until the government shutdown ends. Unfortunately, both the EPA and NOAA are leading investigations into the molasses spill. They want to find out whether Matson is responsible for violating federal laws like the Clean Water Act. We can tell you the Department of Health says they are still conducting investigations on their own, but they acknowledge this could slow things down a bit.
Oh, great. Well, now we also could start seeing an effect on the economy because you're saying that Honolulu ranks second nationwide in the percent of workers dependent on a federal paycheck? Really?
That's correct. This comes from the Washington Post. It surprised me, too. We're tied with Virginia Beach. About 17% of our workforce in the city here are federal workers. We're just behind Colorado Springs, Colorado. They've got a lot of military bases. Surprisingly, we're ahead of Washington, D.C. They came in fourth place.
What? Well, then definitely we're probably going to start feeling a pinch in the economy from this.
I think so.
Okay, well, now I know we're talking about making good on some promises, and we're talking about some of the congressional members just show solidarity, I guess you could say, is what they're doing.
I think so. You know, most of their staff have been furloughed. They're not receiving paychecks. But started with Tulsi Gabbard. She said, I'm not going to take a paycheck. Ever since the shutdown started, she said she's been returning her pay, and amounts to about $470 a day, by the way, to the U.S. Treasury. But she's not alone. Colleen Hanabusa and Brian Schatz also are going to decline their pay. They're actually going to direct it to a Hawaii charity. So showing solidarity not only with their staff, but with the rest of the country, very concerned about this shutdown.
Okay, well, on to another subject, education, and this is kind of an interesting story that I thought Civil Beat's following. It's a scathing 2008 audit report to improve the Hawaiian Studies program in our schools, but apparently nothing's been going on.
That's right. It was a pretty brutal audit. And so this week, a number of teachers told the Department of Education, the Board of Education rather, look, you haven't done enough to improve those programs. It's actually in our state constitution that we are required to provide Hawaiian culture and language and history, but we're not doing enough. That's what teachers are telling the board.
Well, very interesting stories this morning, and lots to chew on for sure. Thanks a lot, Chad.
You're welcome, Jill.
And for more on these stories, complete stories that we just discussed, you can read them on civilbeat.com.